Hey guys, Monica here. So I'm doing my first TTC vlog, and if you don't know what that means and you've stumbled across this, or if you already watch my channel and you're trying to figure out what TTC stands for, it is for trying to conceive. Now if you do watch my vlogs, then you know that I have mentioned that my husband and I would like to try one more time for a daughter. So that's what this video is going to be about. Try to cover all of the basics from everything that we're reading, we're doing, and even run through some questions. So, first things first. I'm using Answer, the ovulation prediction kit. It comes with 20 ovulation tests and 1 pregnancy test. This will now be in my second box. I already have my whole month charted right here and my little binder. I do have, let's get it open to the right page. I do have my whole month charted here. I will run through it real quick through the last little bit of the video. And then, of course, up here I just have some little things wrote just to kind of keep myself in good spirits. Just because I know with trying to conceive, it does kind of get you down, and sometimes it doesn't always go that well. So I just wrote down some things to kind of, you know, help me be patient and, you know, just to think positive and stuff like that. So, yeah. And then what we are reading, we have purchased the book, How to Choose the Sex of Your Baby by Dr. Schiltz. We're using that to hopefully try to sway the gender, of course, being a girl. I also will be doing, closer to the time that we're actually trying to conceive, I will be doing a diet, but I will make sure I update you guys on that as well. Right now, I've only started fitting little bits and pieces of the girl diet into my regular eating habit, but as far as actually like buckling down and just sticking with just the girl diet, like no caffeine and stuff like that, I have not done that yet. So that is what we're using, what we are reading, and how I am charting my ovulation. I'm charting my ovulation because according to the book, if you want to conceive a girl baby, you should try to have intercourse at least 3 days prior to ovulation. So, because I don't exactly know when I ovulate because I was on birth control and I've been off, I'd like to take the OPK test for at least a good few months, at least 3 months or more, before I actively start trying to have a baby. Just so I can kind of map out and say, okay, well, I'm ovulating around this time, you know, and hopefully every month it's around that time, so we know to avoid intercourse on that exact day or, you know, couple of days, and try to have intercourse a couple of days before the ovulation does actually occur. So, that's why I'm using the OPKs. It's not because I'm not worried about ovulating. Well, I'm kind of sort of a little bit worried about ovulating, but not exactly. I sometimes can ovulate twice in 1 month, which does kind of sort of make it really confusing. And it is great, though, if you are like me and you do ovulate, you know, more than once a month, because then, you know, with taking the test, you can kind of see that. That's what happened with the twins, is I ovulated twice, which was kind of funny. But when I was pregnant with the twins, and I found out they had told me one of the twins was 2 weeks younger than the other one, so it was really odd how that all worked out. It was very strange. But anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and get into some of the questions. And maybe that will kind of answer some of the questions, if you guys are watching this, that you may already have or plan to ask. So there is, let's see, about like 13 of them, but I'll be real quick about them. Okay, number 1 is, what made you want more kids? I've always had a lot of kids around me growing up. I have an older sister, an older brother, there's me, and then a younger brother. So there's 4 kids. I've always just been around a lot of kids, and I didn't really like go into marriage saying, oh, I want just this many kids. I always thought that I was going to have just a boy and a girl. When I was younger, I never wanted kids, and then when I would like play Barbie dolls and stuff, I always had a boy and a girl, and the girl's name was Christine, and the boy's name was Michael. And back then, when I was young, that was the popular name, so I think that's why that kind of worked out that way. But I never named my child Michael, and of course I haven't had a daughter, so yeah, and I don't plan to name her Christine. Anyways, so I think just having more kids, it's kind of like, it just, I don't know, it kind of just happened, so to speak. Like, when I had the twins, it was great, and I was really excited, and I was really happy, because before having them, I had just lost a baby due to miscarriage. And then it was like, great, you know, God gave me 2 of them, you know, how awesome is that? And then I was told after the twins, I had miscarried another baby when they were about 4 months old, which I know was so close, but I ended up taking some antibiotics with my birth control, and at that time nobody said, hey, if you take antibiotics for birth control, you know, you most likely will get pregnant. So I didn't know that. And anyway, I ended up miscarrying, and then I was having a lot of problems, and I thought that it was because of the miscarriage. And so when I went to the doctor, he said, listen, this is what I think you have from what you're describing to me, but I really don't know unless I go in and do surgery. So at that point, I was really freaked out and I was scared, but I did okay the surgery, and I went in and then found out that I had endometriosis. Well, at that point in time, I figured that that meant, you know, me having kids was going to be very slim. So I went to a specialist that specialized in endometriosis, and he told me flat out, he said, you're not going to be able to have another baby without my help and without taking these medicines. And so I was like, okay, well, what kind of medicine is it? Well, the more he started to describe the medicine, which was going to make me even more sick than I already was, it's going to make me tired, it was going to make my hair fall out. It was medicine, I forget the exact name of it, but at the time I wasn't really listening to the name of it. I was just listening to, oh my gosh, you know, I'm not going to be able to have any more children. It was medicine that they give to cancer patients. And so, you know, I said, okay, and I pretty much, long story short, I pretty much just said, you know what, forget that doctor, I'm going to leave it in God's hands. And sure enough, months later, I got pregnant with my son Brody. So my 3rd boy. And so at that point I was like, ha, you know, forget you, specialist doctor, you know, you don't know anything. So when he was about 3, then I got the right idea that I would love to try for a girl. Well, I had another miscarriage, and then I got pregnant with my 4th son, Riley. And so I was a little bit sad and a little bit, I don't want to say, well, when I say heartbroken, it sounds so broken. It sounds, I guess, kind of bad to some people, but it's not like I would trade any of my 4 sons for a girl. That is not the case whatsoever. I love having them. I love doing the boy stuff, you know. I love having them, you know, love me so much that sometimes it's a bit suffocating. I love that. But anyways, I think I got off track. Anywho, okay, but I never planned to have more kids, but all of my children are a blessing. You know, I knew deep down in my heart, and I still know, that I'm meant to mother a daughter. And I really hope and pray God gives me a daughter. But I knew that I wanted to have a little girl, and I asked my husband, I said, you know, because I've been having some personal issues with endometriosis, and it was just kind of to the point where I was like, enough is enough. I have to do something about this. Am I holding on to this hopeless dream, you know, of having a daughter and suffering through all of this pain and just ickiness, you know, for him to not even want another child, you know? And then I asked him, I said, you know, do you want to have a daughter? Do you want to have a little girl? And to my surprise, he said yes. And I was like, oh, okay. And so we kind of like decided together when we were going to do it. And with all of my kids, like the twins, they're 8, Brody is 5, and then Riley is 2. So we kind of had the whole 3-year gap in between like all of those. And so I wanted to kind of sort of break that tradition a little bit in hopes that maybe I would have the upper foot, if that makes any sense for a girl. Because it seems like maybe possibly every time, it's hard to explain, but, and I know it's probably a bunch of nonsense, but it seems like every 3 years I end up with a boy. So it's like, all right, let's wait a little bit over and we'll see what happens there. So, I just kind of knew that I wanted more kids in that sense. Like I said, I didn't set out to be like, I'm going to have so many kids and that's going to be it. No. Alright, so number 2, was it planned? Obviously, I'm making this video. I didn't think that was funny, but how many kids would you like to have? Okay, this one is kind of touch and go. I'm going to say 5 in hopes that the 5th one is a girl. Dale keeps saying, oh, wouldn't it be funny if God gave us twin girls? I will take 6 children. I think 6 is my limit. Okay, 6 is my limit if God says, I want you to have twins again. Hopefully, if he gives me twins, hopefully one of them will at least be a girl. So, yeah. Number 4, what do you think your life, or how do you, ugh, can't even talk. How do you think your life would change if it was a girl baby? I don't really think it would change that much. I think it would pretty much stay the same. I just think that there'd be like more girly stuff laying around, more pink stuff, you know. I think it would stay the same pretty much. I mean, there's nothing that I can really say, oh, well, this would majorly change, because Dale has Riley, you know, all over him all the time, you know, wrapped around his finger, and I think that she would, you know, have the same feelings towards her dad. Like I said, I don't really think anything major would change, other than maybe like a routine, because of course, you know, a new baby, new routine. So I don't think anything like drastic. What do the boys think about having a new brother or sister? Okay, well, Daniel, Brody are all for it. Preston is on the sidelines. He's kind of like, yeah, maybe. But I think it's just kind of coming from big brother stuff, you know, and I think he's kind of like, Mom, aren't you done yet? And then he kind of has the attitude, well, Dad, you're getting pretty old and, you know, on up there in age. Aren't you done yet? I think Riley would love having a baby. He loves babies. And I don't even know where this came from. Before we even started talking about having another baby, he was just baby crazy. He wanted to play with this baby doll. He talked to all the babies. I mean, today he was saying hi to everybody in the grocery store. You know, so he's just baby crazy. I think he would love having a little, you know, brother or sister. So, where would the new baby sleep? Well, I always keep my children, my babies, in the room with me for like the first year. And then if it does happen to be, you know, a boy, then it'll probably go into the room with Brody and Riley. But I can't really exactly say 100% like where it's going to be for like its whole life, because, you know, we might buy this house and add on, we might move, you never know. But that's where it'll be. Names, I have a couple of names picked out. I really like this one, and it's like so, I don't know, it's out there, but I don't know. I don't want to say it though, because if we do get pregnant, then everybody's going to be like, you know, asking me what the name is. So I don't want to give it away just yet. Why do we want a girl? I want a little Monica. I want a daughter. I want somebody to, well, I mean, I teach my boys, but I want a little girl to teach everything to. You know, like, there was things that should have been taught to me growing up, but because I didn't have that good female role model or like a constant mother, I feel like I went about things the wrong way. And I want to make sure that, you know, my daughter doesn't suffer the same, you know, path. And I tell my boys, you know, well, this is the way that you need to do things, or no, you need to be nice, or you really shouldn't say that to a girl because it does hurt her feelings, you know, knowing from my own experience. But it's not the whole, like, oh, I want to dress her up like a Barbie doll and put her in beauty pageants and all that. I could care less about that, to be honest with you. I want someone that I can relate to, that I can do things with, that I can teach, that I can be there when she walks down the aisle, when she's, you know, having a baby, when she gets her first period, teaching her to put on makeup, teaching her to dress, playing with Barbie dolls. Just, I want that so bad. You guys have no idea how bad I want that. You know, and if I do end up having another boy, God obviously wanted me to have another boy, and I will have plenty of daughter-in-laws and hopefully granddaughters. So, obviously, if I have another boy and I've done everything in my power, Dale's done everything in his power, then that was meant to be. So, yeah. Let's see. How do you think she would fit in with the boys? I think if it was a girl, I think she would rule the nest. I honestly think so. And the reason that I say that is because when I was little, I had my big sister, my big brother, and my little brother wrapped around my finger. I was like, you know, one hand on my hip, and I ruled the nest. And I think she would be the same way. I think she would be using that cute little face and those blue eyes to get anything that she wanted with her brothers, including her dad. That's what I think. Let's see. Number 10. What kind of personality do you think she'll have? Well, I kind of just explained that. I think she'll be, you know, like little mama. I think she'll have kind of sort of my personality. Number 11. What do you think she will look like? Well, she's obviously going to have blue eyes. Dell and I both have blue eyes. I mean, unless there's like some weird something like green eyes, like my sister does have green eyes. My mom and dad have blue eyes, so my sister does have green. So she could possibly have green. I don't care as long as she's healthy. So I'm going to say blue eyes, and seeing how my last two children have had blonde hair, I'm going to say blonde to dirty blonde hair. Just because that's my natural, and that's what all 4 of my children have. They all look like me, so that's what I'm going to go with. Number 12, what special things, methods are you doing to try to conceive a girl? Well, I kind of went over that at the beginning with the test and the book and then the diet. Forget to include in there. I'm also using a period tracker app on my phone. I like that because then when I do take my temperature, which I started out taking my temperature, but it didn't quite exactly like add up, because even when I wasn't ovulating, my temperature would go up. And I would be in bed, and as soon as I opened my eyes, I would take my temperature before I got out of bed, moved, went to the bathroom, did anything. So that didn't exactly work for me. So I stopped doing the whole taking my temperature. But if I'm like craving something that day, or if my faces broke out, or if I was spotting, like I did have a little bit of spotting earlier this month, I was able to track that in there. And then also when me and my husband were intimate, I was also able to put that in there too. That way, if anything should happen by accident, I did have it, you know, put down. But I would like to add that we are using protection around that time. We are watching it, you know, because the way that we kind of look at it is this is going to be our last child, hopefully. So we don't want to do anything before we're ready, because I'd like to spend a few months, like I've already started like preparation. I want to spend some time getting things prepared, getting things laid out, stocking up on items. I just want to be really prepared when we do actually have a baby. You know, and like I said before, by some weird chance we could decide in the end not to. But as of right now, it is still a go. Alright, number 13, do you really believe you'll have a girl? I don't know. I'm back and forth like every day literally on this. I'm like, okay, don't be negative. Think positive. But don't tell yourself that you're going to have a girl, because then if it turns out not to be, you're going to be sad and heartbroken. And I don't know. I feel like, you know, God is going to give you what He's going to give you, but I hopefully will increase the odds by following not only Schultz's method, but with the ovulation. And then I would also like to purchase some pH strips, but I have not been able to find the pH strips at any of the stores here. Walmart, Kroger, Walgreens, Rite Aid. I'm not sure. I might just have to purchase them online, but I would like to, like I said, also purchase the pH strips, and then, of course, like I said, doing the girl diet and all that stuff, but, and then just keeping track of everything, because, you know, the Schultz method, he believes that, like, timing is everything. So, and with the 4 boys, I guess timing was kind of sort of everything, is because I remember when I got pregnant with them, I remember it being close to my ovulation. I know too much TMI, but totally like positioning, things like that. So, and none of them were the same as in like trying to conceive a girl. So it was all pretty much the same timing, and like I said, totally TMI, but positioning. So yeah, I need to, like, maybe if I change things up, maybe then it'll kind of help sway, you know, or somehow help me with a girl. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for like all of the questions and everything that we're doing. I will do these trying to conceive vlogs every month because I want to kind of track everything. Like I have in my book here, like I said, my my tests. So I'll kind of at the end of the video kind of run you guys through them so you can see if you're not familiar to what they look like and things like that. But for right now, that's all I have. So if you guys have any other questions about this, or if you guys just want to leave me comments or baby dust or anything, or things that maybe you've tried to conceive a daughter that worked for you or whatever it be, yeah, I would greatly appreciate it. If you guys wouldn't mind, don't forget to like my video and subscribe for more. Not only of my trying to conceive, but I have vlogs every day. I have cooking and I have DIYs and just makeup, anything and everything you can think of on my channel. So anyways, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next month for my trying to conceive or in my vlogs. Thanks, guys. Okay, guys, so I told you I would show you the OPKs. So we're just going to kind of start at the top, and then I'm just going to just very slowly kind of go down, as you can see. Now, you see how these ones up here have 2 lines that are, of course, very faint, and then the lines get a little bit lighter, and then they start to get really, really dark. Well, as you can tell, these, well, 4 days are very dark. So I'm not exactly sure which day I ovulated on, because day 16 and 17 to me are equally as dark. So that's what I mean about having some issues with ovulating. But it goes down, and then over here, of course, as you can see, it's lighter. And then my test for today will go right here. But like I said, I was taking my body temperature, but it was just way off track. So I just stopped taking it. But that's my OPKs for the month of January, and my menstrual cycle should start somewhere over here. It's not started today, so of course my test will go there for today. It should start somewhere in this area. Now here's a glance of the book so you guys can see up close the book that we are using. If you follow his methods, supposedly it is 99% accurate, so we'll see. And then here is the type of test that I am using. So I've used this test before when I conceived Riley, but the difference was when I actually ovulated is when I was intimate with my husband, hence why I have my son. But this is the test that I'm using this go around too, so it does work. So if you guys want to check that out, they have them at Walmart and they sell them for $19.99.